I'd like to call to order the regular meeting on Monday, March 25th, 2013. Please join Councilmember Barber in the Pledge of Allegiance, and please stay standing for the invocation.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Lord, tonight in Goodyear, Arizona, we ask for balance as we head into our budget season. As stewards of our local finances, please help our leaders find ways to best control the money instead of the money controlling us. And may we find the responsible path to budget within our means as we manage the taxpayers' dollars in a way that allows for reasonable and responsible spending, giving, and saving. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much. And it looks like Councilman Loretano is present, and so we're all here. So let's go on to the first, which is communication. We have one communication tonight, and that's to recognize volunteers involved with the Tale of Two Cities float. Mark Flynn, Deputy Public Works Director, Municipal Services, to present. Mark?
Good evening, Mayor, members of council. A pleasure to be with you this evening. I want to take a few moments of your time and bring you up to speed and give you a little bit of background on some work that we did back in February, and take a few minutes to recognize some wonderful volunteers this evening. You may recall back on February 16th, the city of Goodyear participated in the Tale of Two Cities parade. This was the second anniversary, the second of activity, the second year that this parade had taken place, and the city had quite a presence this year. We were very, very pleased to have some wonderful volunteers who helped us with that. We have some photographs we'd like to share with you. The idea originally was to create a piece of mobile art. We started out with some blank sheets of plywood and began to work with a number of different components. We talked about kind of the icons of Goodyear, the things that make Goodyear memorable. We had a number of volunteers from the Youth Commission, from some of the local art program, and members of the Arts and Culture Commission who were able to come in and help us put together what some of those true icons were. Things from the ZIZ, recreation in the area, the idea of science, technology, education, and mathematics, engineering and mathematics occurring in the community, kind of where we've come from and where we're going to, all the way back to our agricultural roots. The community volunteers were really what made this happen. Over 100 hours of volunteer efforts from members of the Arts and Culture Commission who had some great ideas about what these should be displayed, and then actually doing the painting and the design work themselves. The work began on Monday, Martin Luther King holiday, back in January, and some work back in the public works space. We began laying out those concepts and then putting those pieces together, and over the next 5 or 6 weeks, we're able to bring that to fruition. After we put the pieces together, it was time to really bring it all together and start assembly. So some of the folks from Public Works took some time, put together the panels, the pieces that you saw that were mounted up on that trailer that were made up on the float, and we essentially created a piece of mobile public art. We've actually done that in such a way where it can be located around the city at different events that will occur. Matter of fact, right now the next event where this will be on display will actually occur at the Symphony that will be held up in Estrella Mountain Ranch. There's been some requests to have it up there as well, so we're looking forward to that. After that assembly that occurred the days coming up to the parade on the 16th, it was time for Parade Day actually to occur. And we were blessed to have many of those volunteers come to our aid once again and actually assist us in the activity that day, from the final assembly that occurred that morning there on Litchfield Road to actually walking in the parade and handing out a number of goodies and gifts that we handed out to the folks along the route. If you kind of notice in the photographs, the theme of our presentation that day for the international theme of the parade was the Goodyear Globally Connected. And we had some T-shirts made up that displayed that, and then we also handed out, the group handed out these discs that they asked me to be able to present to you as well. We were able to stash some of those off to the side, so we made sure we had one for each of you here this evening before we were done. But the real purpose of this evening is to recognize the folks from Arts and Culture and the public schools and the art program who were part of that effort. There were a number of folks from the city who participated, and we'll get to them at just the end. But I'd like to bring those folks from the public up and ask you to help me in join in recognizing them this evening. The folks who participated in the actual painting, and this literally was hundreds and hundreds of hours: Laura Barnheiser, Lindsay Oslansky, Gia DeYoung. Folks, please feel free to come on up if you like. Ella DeYoung, Hannah Cassidy, Jessica Sinclair, Tyler Spillane, Tamara Wooten, Michaela Wooten, and then several members from the Arts and Culture Commission, Anthony Galto, Guyleen Oslansky, Catherine Miller, Jessica Rosenberg, and Linda Strauss-Lewis, who is also the chair of the Arts and Culture Commission. Without these folks, we wouldn't have been able to make this happen. It was a labor of love, because where I would have painted the hands just the flesh color, they actually added detail and nails and shadowing, and it was just amazing to see that all come together. Nights and evenings in the Public Works building, into some weekends as well, as we drew that to a close. But please join me in thanking these folks for their time and their effort. The folks who actually participated along the parade route were good enough to hand out these discs, so I'm going to ask them to kind of position these to council like you did along that route for me. Would you guys do that for me? Those are the discs you handed out on that day at the parade. I'm sure they would like one.
Well, as they hand them out, I just want to thank you, and I know the council probably has some other words for you. I could not believe it when that came by. It was so beautiful, and the globe was moving, so people that are watching it tonight cannot approve. And I know that you had some emergency duty during that time. I understand the ball was...
When we brought the float over to the festival at the end of the route, the winds began to pick up, and while we had it tethered to the component, the winds got a little bit stronger than we were able to restrain. So I think about 20 or 30 minutes into the actual festival, I got a phone call said that the float, or the globe, had fallen off to the side, so we disassembled it at that point, and we'll save that for another day. One other quick thing that I would like to point out and ask you just to kind of accept on behalf of the parade folks, the City of Goodyear was recognized for that float that was created. The City of Goodyear was awarded Best Overall Appearance for Parade Entry that year, and they've actually presented us with a plaque that we'd like to present to you this evening.
Really, I think they should all be getting plaques, not me.
That's probably true.
But I'll take this in honor of the city. I mean,
Perhaps we can find a place to have that
why
displayed.
don't you all come
Thank
up?
you very much.
No, come on up here and line up here, and then I'm gonna have, council stand behind. Okay, can you just spread out?
Where you want us?
All the way down there, okay? Because we want to get, come on, girls, right in the front. The smaller one to be seen, okay? All right, can we kind of cuddle up a little bit? Come on. Turn sideways so you can get in, okay? All right.
Cuddle up.
That's what she said, right? Cuddle up, yes. It's an old expression.
Best of Sure you want to take two?
Matt, I am actually. I'd like to do that very quickly if you don't mind.
Why don't you just quickly shake a hand, because they're going to thank you too.
I'm nice to see you.
You guys, great job.
Good, how are you?
Thank you very much.
Got some artists here. Great job.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Did you have fun? Great job, thank you. Thank you. Thanks very much.
Oh, thank you. Nice to see you. Thanks for doing that. I knew it had your name on there. Thank you very much. Hi, Linda. It was wonderful. Thank you so much. Great job. Thank you.
Madam Mayor and members of council, just quickly in closing, I would like to recognize a number of folks from the city who participated. The planning committee that was originally assembled to put the ideas together was made up of Nathan Torres, Mark Holmes, Amy Lindsay, Mary Wilhite, Angela Tolliver, Wynette Reed, and myself. And then we tasked a number of staff from our respective groups to participate in helping to do the assembly and the like. Christian Olvera participated along the route. Eddie Cruz was the gentleman who was taking care of our music that morning up on the parade float itself. Michael Leone was a tremendous asset with regard to a lot of the graphics that you see and the flyers that were part of that process. Dennis Lee, Ben Cabrera, John Palmer, Harry Barfield, Rafael Laguan, Kevin Dobson, Michael Hughes, Richard Landau, Jerome Onstott, and Phil Durbin. Those were the folks who did the assembly and made that globe spin. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
beautiful. Now,
Yeah.
pass it down, everybody, and look at it.
Mayor.
Well, we can't thank you enough to all of the citizens that worked on it and staff. It was just outstanding, and I have made the request that I would like to show it off in a couple of parades in the other parts of the city, not our city, but in other cities. I think it would be advantageous. It's a great example of coming together. Okay, so let's
Mayor.
go on to yes.
Mayor, I had the honor of riding behind this beautiful float. I was in the red Jeep. And it was so wonderful as the folks walking beside this beautiful float were passing out these and I wanted one, but they didn't come behind. So thank you for my,
Weapon.
well, my
A small frisbee.
Thank you. But I wanted to tell you, after your float passed, people were oohing and ahhing to me saying, what a gorgeous float. How, we're so proud of it. So we just want to thank all of you that it really was so spectacular. And I know it took a lot of effort, but thank you so much. We're very proud of it.
Yes, Bill.
To echo that, but also we've got several of our newest appointed members of the Arts and Culture Commission participated in this, and I think I spoke the night that all those folks were sworn in, and as things were changed, we have some really excited citizens that are volunteered to be on that committee. It was great to see a number of you here tonight, and I'm looking forward to, and we'll later in the information, I'm looking forward to the sidewalk art thing that's coming up. So,
Great.
thanks.
Vice Mayor.
I just wanted to sum it up for myself of saying that, Goodyear's got talent. There's for sure. Thank you.
Councilman Loretano.
I just want to say thank you to all the volunteers. When you looked at that, my word was wow, because it was clearly a professional float. I'm like, so much art talent. It was just beautiful. So I like the mayor's idea. Let's put it in some other parades.
Yeah, absolutely. All right.
Just real quick.
Yes, Councilman Basillo.
This just kind of confirms, just like the 20-some thousand hours of volunteer service that we have throughout the city and variety of efforts of our citizens stepping up. And not only that, like Vice Mayor said, we got talent out here. That's a fantastic float. So, again, I really appreciate all the effort you put into it, and thank you.
All right, let's get on. And the first is next on the agenda is now is the time for citizens who would like to address the city council on any non-agenda items. Do we have any cards?
One speaker card,
All right.
Larry Bach.
Okay. Larry Bach. Is Larry Bach in the audience? Last call. Larry Bach. Okay. Then let's go on. Since there are no speaker cards, let's go down to the consent agenda. Will the city clerk please read the consent agenda by title only, please?
Item 6.1, approve draft minutes of a regular meeting and a special meeting held on February 25th, 2013, and draft minutes of a special meeting held on March 4th, 2013. Item 6.2, adopt resolution 13-1533, authorizing the mayor to execute an intergovernmental agreement with the state of Arizona, acting by and through its Department of Transportation to establish responsibility for funding, purchasing, installation, and maintenance responsibilities of fiber optic conduit, cable, and equipment along Pebble Creek Parkway, Estrella Parkway, from Van Buren Street to Indian School Road in the city of Goodyear. Item 6.3, adopt resolution 13-1541 DUI overtime/ERE, ratifying submission of a grant application to the Governor's Office of Highway Safety. Authorize the city manager to execute any and all documents for grant administration. Authorize the city manager to approve future GOHS grant submissions not exceeding $75,000 and execute any and all documents for grant administration. Item 6.4, approve the replat for Pebble Creek Phase 2, Unit 43A for lots 20, 25 through 29, 38, 76, and tracts A and D generally located at the southwest corner of Saraville Avenue and Indianola Avenue within the Pebble Creek Phase 2 planned area development, subject to the stipulations set forth in the general notes of the final plat and subject to additional stipulations. Item 6.5, approve a non-budgeted expenditure in an amount exceeding $75,000 as required by Resolution 08-1255.
Thank you very much. Does anyone from the public wish to remove an item from the consent agenda? Does anyone from the council wish to remove an item from the consent agenda? Oh, how about that? So I'd like a motion, a second, to approve this consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
I heard a motion by Councilman Stiff and a second by Councilman Bazzillo. Ask for a roll call. So,
Vice Mayor Osborne,
Aye.
Councilmember Pizzillo,
Aye.
Councilmember Loretano,
Aye.
Councilmember Campbell,
Aye.
Councilmember Barber,
Aye.
Councilmember Stipp,
Aye.
Mayor Lord.
aye.
Passes 7-0.
All right, let's go on to the business. We will now consider on 7.1, conditionally rezoning a parcel of land located at the southeast corner of Saraville and Elwood Street for a proposed Elwood Logistic Center. Karen Craver to present.
Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome.
The subject property of this rezoning is the site of the previously approved but undeveloped Saraville Crossing PAD. It is adjacent on two sides to industrial development such as Arizona Galvanizing, Lortz Furniture Manufacturing, and industrial developments scattered along Eddie Albert Way to the south, and also an APS substation. And to the west, across Saraville Avenue, is the Macy's and Amazon fulfillment centers. To the north, across Elwood Street, is Saraville Village, a single-family residential community. The Saraville Village HOA Board spoke in support of this rezoning at the February Commission public hearing on this case. The Saraville Crossing PAD, which was a rezoning from I-2 to PAD, allowed a mix of commercial business park uses, business park light industrial uses, and general industrial uses. This is also the lotting pattern and the street layout that was approved through a final plat, but that plat was never recorded. The new property owner, Track Properties, is now requesting approval of a rezoning from PAD and I-2 to light industrial park with a PAD overlay for Elwood Logistics Center, which is a planned 1.3 million square foot distribution facility. The review and approval of the application for rezoning and PAD overlay meets 6 criteria out of the zoning ordinance: consistency with the city's general plan, suitability of the subject property for the uses, compatibility and consistency with surrounding uses, generated demand for public services, the general public's concerns, and the promotion of orderly growth and development. Staff has determined through the review of this application and subject to the stipulations contained in the attached ordinance that this request meets the criteria for the zoning map amendment. At their February P&Z meeting, the Planning and Zoning Commission concurred by a unanimous vote to recommend approval. And with that, we are recommending the adoption of Ordinance 13-1281.
Thank you very much. Are there any speaker cards?
No, Mayor.
All right. Would anybody from the audience like to speak? Will the city clerk then please read the ordinance by title only?
Adopt Ordinance 13-1281, conditionally rezoning an approximate 70-acre parcel of land generally located at the southeast corner of Saraville Avenue and Elwood Street from the Planned Area Development Zoning District and the General Industrial Park I-2 Zoning District to the Light Industrial Park I-1 Zoning District.
Thank you. Can I please have a motion and a second?
So moved. Oh.
I heard a motion by Vice Mayor Osborne and a second by Councilman Campbell. Open for council discussion. Councilman Bazzillo.
At the HOA meeting, you mentioned that they were in support of this. What were some of the comments regarding why they kind of like the project, I would assume?
Yes, they did. They understood that there's a general plan, land use designation of industrial zoning as well, and the property is surrounded by industrial development, so they knew this property was going to develop industrial as well. So they worked very closely with the applicant and with the city prior to even the submittal of the application to come up with a conceptual development plan that they could support. The architecture they were in support of, the depression of the dock doors well below the level of Elwood Street so that you won't see those dock doors or the trucks, the extensive landscaping program where access points were placed to the property. It was a very good collaborative effort.
Okay, thank you.
Councilman Stipp?
I think the thing for me that was most important was hearing that the residents were in support of this. It's also, I think, important for us to point out to the developer, at least from my perspective, how much I appreciate them working with the community, particularly the neighborhood, to go to what some may say are pretty extreme adjustments to bring in a warehousing facility, to go through the effort to make it fit in with the neighborhood. And for that, I'm eternally grateful, and it makes approving, at least for me, voting yes on a project like this very, very easy.
Vice Mayor Osborne?
I'd just like to echo what the other two gentlemen have said. I really believe that this developer was proactive, and I think that, you know, taking this large size of a development after seeing planning and zoning things for over 12 years, I can tell you there's no easy way to disguise this, and they did their best to give it some kind of architectural treatments. And you know, we have struggled with this actually in our own design guidelines on how do we, you know, make this not look so large. And they did that well, and they certainly listened to our concerns over the neighborhood, and they reached out to neighborhoods. So I really feel that this was a very nicely done development, and I'm looking forward to the company that will take its place at some point in time. So thank you.
Any other comments? Then could I please have roll call vote?
Councilmember Pizzillo,
Aye.
Councilmember Loretano,
Aye.
Councilmember Campbell,
Aye.
Councilmember Barber,
Aye.
Councilmember Stipp,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Osborne,
Aye.
Mayor Lord.
Aye.
Passes 7-0.
Great. Let's go on to 7.2. We will consider adopting the results of the primary election held on March 12, 2013, and order the recordation of the resolution. Maureen Scott will present.
Mayor Lord and council members, this item before you is to consider the adoption of the results of the 2013 primary election. And the election was March 12th, and it consisted of the mayor and 3 council seats. Mayor Lord ran unopposed and received 50% plus 1 of the votes, which was 6,976 votes, and is considered elected. Incumbents, Councilmember Pizzillo and Campbell, also received 50% plus 1, and therefore are also considered elected. Councilmember Pizzillo received 5,797 votes, and Councilmember Campbell received 5,418 votes. 4,010 votes were needed for the 50% plus 1. Brandon Hampton and Sherilyn Homan received the next highest votes, but did not receive the 50% plus 1, so they will be facing a runoff in the general election that will take place on May 21st. And whoever has the most votes at the general election will take that 3rd council seat. The general election will be an all-mail election, and ballots will be mailed out on April 25th, and that will be going out to all Goodyear registered voters. The city clerk's office will again be an early voting site, and that's where citizens can come in and get replacement ballots if needed. And our office will be open on Election Day, May 21st, from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m., and the ballots must be received that day in order to be counted. The unofficial results of the general election will be available after 8 o'clock that night, and they will be on the City of Goodyear website and also on the Maricopa County election website. And that concludes my presentation.
Great. Do you need time to get back, or are you going
No,
to
I'll just
stay
do it right here.
All right. Are there any speaker cards?
No, Mayor.
I'll look towards the audience. Anybody in the audience would like to speak? All right, then will you please read the resolution by title only, please?
Adopt Resolution 13-1540 declaring and adopting the results of the primary election held on March 12, 2013, and ordering the recordation of such resolution.
Thank you very much. Could I please have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Loretano, is that who it was? And a second by Councilman Pizzillo. Open for council discussion? Nobody's going to take advantage of this, are you? Okay.
Congratulations.
Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Loretano,
Aye.
Councilmember Campbell, Councilmember Barber,
Aye.
Councilmember Stipp,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Osborne,
Aye.
Councilmember Pizzillo,
Aye.
Mayor Lord.
Aye.
Passes 7-0.
Thank you very much. All right, now we're, yeah, you accepted it all, yes. Okay, very good. Congratulations to all those that won. Does the council have any comments or any items you'd like to discuss tonight? This is your time.
Yes.
Councilman Stipp?
Just a couple of quick things to report on. We had the meeting with Historic Goodyear Neighborhood Alliance last week. Went very well. There will, for the council's information, Diane Crone, who was the president, has stepped down. And we think that there's a new president who's taken over. I'm not sure if Tony has actually fully accepted it yet. So we'll know in the month, the meeting in May. The mayor and I had a discussion today with Congressman Grijalva and his staff from Arizona here to talk about the Veterans Initiative that we discussed last week. Very good meeting. He is extremely supportive of the veterans initiatives and the needs of the veterans communities, the veterans community, and our attempt to keep them within our city and our area. So I'm looking forward to that. And city manager, we have a sidewalk art project coming up, I think this weekend. I look to Nathan in the back. Is that this weekend?
That was last weekend.
Actually, it was last weekend, Mayor, Council.
It was last weekend. Well, then I missed it.
I can give just a real brief summary if that's a question.
That's kind of where I'm going with that, yeah.
It was actually our first chalk art in the park. It took place last Saturday at the Goodyear Community Park from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. And it's a partnership with the West Valley Artists Group. And thanks to staff for quickly getting me this information, by the way. I'm singing their praises. But it was first of several. We'll do quite a few of these as the program keeps building. It's important to point out it was spearheaded by Anthony Geltu, one of our new arts and culture members. And the premise is really have an artist work with the hand in hand with kids to just experience art. And it is, of course, it's chalk art, so you can't really mess it up. You could erase it if you don't do it quite right, I guess. We had about 50 people that attended it, so all accounts, at least on the surface, looks like it was very successful and something that will continue. We'll give council actually some photos and things as we have those available, just to give you a good idea of what's happening. But thank you.
Anthony was very animated and very excited about that during his interview, and it was apparent to a non-art person like myself that art can come in all different kinds of form, and the idea of having a sidewalk artist thing in the park I thought was just really, really interesting. So I was, I'm sorry I got the dates screwed up, or I would have been there to check it out. Thanks.
Great. Councilman Pizzillo.
First, I tip the hat to the staff and our city manager. I'm seeing the weeds and some of the things throughout the city seem to disappear. It seems there's a lot of effort going on out there within our community to get those under controls. I know it's been a tough year with the rain, but it really makes our city more attractive to bring businesses in when the appearance is such of a nice, clean, vibrant-looking city. So I appreciate those efforts out there, and I thank all those who are working to make that happen.
Thank you.
Very good. Councilman Barber?
Thank you, Mayor. This weekend kicked off the games for City of Goodyear girls volleyball. And this is my daughter, I think her 3rd or 4th season playing. It is a fantastic program. It is so positive. The refs are great. It's run by Parks and Rec, correct? And it's phenomenal. So I say kudos to the City of Goodyear for providing this in our city. It's a wonderful program. And then I'd also like to thank the city. You have a program where you donate suites at the ballpark to various nonprofits during baseball season. And the purpose of this is for the nonprofits to be able to go and raise money. So Arizona in Action, what we've done every year is we've said, okay, the directors, we're not going up there. We hand over the ballpark suite for the day to underprivileged children in the community. So we're doing that. Wednesday is our day, and sometimes I don't think we really understand how much we touch people. But I was coming out of the store this weekend, this lady came up to me and she said, "Thank you." And I'm like, okay. And I didn't know what was going on. Well, her son was chosen by one of the schools to be in the suite. She had tears in her eyes, and she said, "This is such a huge deal for our son." And he called all of his family. He called all of his grandparents. I mean, really, really big deal. And these are things that, you know, maybe we take this for granted, but I just want you to know as a city that here's a family that is so grateful and they're so excited, and I know that all 14 kids who will be in there that day will probably feel the same way. So thank you very much for providing this service.
Thank you.
Great. Yes, Councilman Loretano.
I just want to give kudos to the city staff. I'm sorry, I'm losing my voice, but there was a presentation up at Estrella, and I heard that Harry did an excellent job, and was just everyone from the city staff who was there did a great job in explaining the community, the 303, all the development that is going to go up there, and I think the residents got a lot out of it.
And how many people attended?
I think we were about 40 or 50.
I think it's even better than that.
So you think over 50 or around in that number? That's good to hear.
It was wonderful from what I heard,
Good.
too.
I'm glad to hear that. Vice Mayor?
I just wanted to give some major thanks to our assistant Matthew, because the reading challenge starts Monday, and I think that we have just about every single 3rd through 8th grade class that's going to be in the City of Goodyear, and Matt has really helped me a great deal with putting that together. And also a shout out to one of my teens on the Teen Action Council. She Carolina, I can never say her last name right, Pahia. She was this year's winner of the Seroptimus International Women's Group that was given Volunteer of the Year. And this is actually our second young lady in a row, and so I'm really proud of these kids out there. But, you know, where the city also helps with the Teen Action Council is that starting this Thursday is my annual leadership Y12 program, and the City of Goodyear really steps up and helps me with great speakers, and does a great deal to help the future leaders of not only our city but of our state and just our nation. So I'm really want to give a lot of thanks to everything that we do for the future of our children in this city.
And this program is run through whom?
Through
through YMCA.
Through the YMCA.
I just wanted the public to know that
it is through the YMCA. This is the Y12 program is definitely a community. Actually, the Pebble Creek Car Club is the one that donates most of the money to put on this. And actually, Luke Air Force Base has the first night of What is Leadership. They're out there. So, I mean, it's really a great community spirit type of program. But the YMCA really gets behind everything we do.
I just wanted to give the YMCA
Oh,
a little
yeah.
plug there
Oh,
because
definitely.
they do it. Any other? Besides attending MAG and GPEC, my interesting day was I got up at 3:30 so I could be at the City Hall at 4:45 and leave at 5:30 in the morning from MAG downtown to go to a binational economic forum in Nogales, Sonora, Mexico, with about 9 other mayors and about 50 total people on the bus. And we spent the day there, returning about 8:30 that evening. So it was definitely on regional economic development, on tourism, on investment development, on industry activity, and we did go through the Continental Automotive Systems Division factory that was there that actually produced systems for American cars. They're a German company, but they have subsidiaries throughout different countries in the United States. And it was very, 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 very interesting. So I just wanted to share that with you. So at this time, I guess I'll turn it over to the city manager.
Mayor, members of the council, nothing, no follow-up items tonight. There are some from the work session that we will be following up. And the only thing I want to, as an information item, is this spring training is coming to a close, and we are one of 2 ballparks that will host the last spring training games this Saturday. So for those out there that are listening, great last chance to go see, I believe it's the Indians and Reds, is that correct?
Is that a daytime or nighttime?
12:05.
12:05.
12:05, and then they start their regular seasons on April the 1st. But we will be coming back to council likely in May with a wrap-up of spring training, give you a lot of the details, the dollars, the impacts, et cetera.
Well, I heard Saturday's game was over 7,000.
Yes.
So, yeah, over 7,000. So that, I think that was a great number for that one. I know we had 11,000. We didn't quite work up to that number, but 7,000 was respectable. And so I'm excited about hearing the total number when it's all said and done, because we certainly have seen an advancement this year from any other year. All right, are there any inquiries of staff? Doing a great job, not one inquiry. So with that, let me explain the future meetings. The next one will be April 1st. Oh, April Fool's Day. Are you ready for that? It's just a work session, but ladies, don't trust Joe. Okay, that's all I got to say. So with there's no further business to discuss, I'm going to adjourn this meeting, but I can't hear you.
Yes.
How would you like to do? Oh,
You know what? Thank you. I was.
I'm going to ask somebody to, and I can do this certainly, to wish you a very happy Easter and a Passover. And it is a very special time of the year where we fill our churches, where families get together, and when we celebrate a very, very special occasion. So thank you for reminding me of that. Anything else said? Okay, with that, we're going to adjourn this meeting, but now we're going to have a special meeting. So this meeting is adjourned. Okay. Shall we go right into this? Shall I do this? Okay. I'd like to call to order the Monday, March 25th. We're all present. I would like a motion and a second to convene an executive session for discussion and consultation with the city attorney for legal advice on the following items. A, the Suntech Development Agreement. B, the Meet and Confer Ordinance Memorandums of Understanding with employee organizations for the discussion and consultation with the city's designated representatives in order to consider its position and instruct its representatives regarding negotiations with employee organizations regarding salaries, salary schedules, or compensation paid in the form of a fringe benefits for the employees of the city. Will so, City Clerk, will you do a roll call, please, for this meeting?
So moved.
Thank you. I always miss that, don't I? Motion was made by Councilman Stiff and a second by Councilman Campbell. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Campbell?
Aye.
Councilmember Barber?
Aye.
Councilmember Stipp?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Osborne? Aye. Councilmember Pizzillo?
Aye.
Councilmember Loretano?
Aye.
Mayor Lord?
Aye.
Passes 7.